Afternoon, folks. We're back at it again here today, probably on day 3 now, wheat harvest. Finished up the stuff there at the main farm and at the west farm that were both really down. That wind and rain we had really pushed that stuff down the ground. It was a good time getting that stuff up, but now we've moved off to a rental property over here. Got a field over here I'm working on. It's standing pretty decent. A couple places here and there has got some issues, but for the most part it's standing pretty good. So we're going to work on getting this field knocked out. Then we're going to head off to John's and knock that place out. And we got some rain moving in tomorrow. Probably going to run kind of late tonight. We'll see how things pan out. As long as I have somewhere to put wheat, as far as trucks and trailers, I'll keep running. But it's kind of the year we're having here, where you get a couple days and you get rain, a couple days of rain. So makes things a little tough getting things done as far as dry work, as far as harvest and, cutting hay, mowing hay, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we're going to get back out of here. Got quite a bit of this field here left to go. It's about a 14-acre field. And then we're going to head off to John's. Got a 15-acre field over there. And then from there, I'll be probably headed back to Mom and Dad's place to work on the hill down there until I get everything full. So, I guess I'll stick you guys up on time lapse, and we're going to have a busy day here. Well, we wrapped up wheat harvest yesterday. Had a bit of an opportunity there in the afternoon to bale some straw, so we baled about 15 acres worth of straw, and Dad is working on unloading that this morning. We had morning chores to do, barns to scrape and all that fun stuff, and had a little bit more out on the field that was left overnight that didn't fit on trailers to go pick up. So we went and did that. Got some rain that's potentially going to be moving into the area. I hope it doesn't. I can't just sit here and do nothing. I need to be productive. So I'm going to take this baler out to the field. I'm going to bale at least enough to fit on the trailers that are currently empty. Then I'll probably quit baling, grab the skid steer and a trailer, go out, load that, and just kind of do that until Dad's done unloading what's currently loaded, although I'm going to be making more work for him very shortly. But that's kind of the plan. It's going to be a busy day. I really hope that we have a good day. I really hope, well, I can't see down that dark tank. I really hope that we have no rain for the remainder of the day. It'd be really nice to get the rest of that 25-acre field baled, and then at that point in time, I can hopefully do some double crop beans. So I guess nothing's gonna get done sitting here yapping, so I'm gonna get to work. Well, some of you might be wondering, that sure looks like a different skid steer than usual. It is. We tried to use the loader attachment that we built for the 884 tractor on hay, and unfortunately it does not have enough hydraulic pressure to do what I needed to do. You can boom up with bales in the tie grabber, but you can't curl back with bales in the tie grabber. I'm not 100% convinced it's not an issue with cylinders on that particular loader. If it'll boom up just fine, it should curl back just fine. So I don't know if the cylinders are bypassing or what's going on, but we've changed the pressure relief valve in the tractor to a 2500 psi pressure relief valve. That still was not enough to make it do what we needed it to do. Skid steers have 3000 psi on a pressure relief valve, so I don't know if that's the difference, is that additional 500 psi on the relief valve that makes or breaks a loader. But it didn't work for hay, so I needed another loader, and that ended up being a Racket. We drove clear down to Covington, Ohio to look at another 95 XT that ended up being a clapped out piece of junk. The ROPS was torched and all sorts of stuff. I was told it was a cream puff machine with 2500 hours, and it was priced accordingly. They were proud of it. Got all the way down there, and it was a clapped out piece of junk that I wouldn't put anybody I love in, and I wouldn't put it in my barn and watch my barn burn down in the morning. So we didn't buy it. Ended up finding this SV300 at Reitzel Tractor. Went and picked it up. Well, we went and looked at it. It was a nice machine, a little bit more money than what I wanted to spend, but it was a much newer, much nicer machine than a 95. Now, it is not a 95 XT by any means. A 95 XT has more brute force than that SV300. I don't know much about the SV340s. They might be a little more comparable to a 95 XT. That machine is lighter than a 95 XT. It has a smaller displacement motor than a 95 XT. Its overall operating weight and everything is different. So it's a little different breed, to say the least, but it's a nice machine, just learning the ins and outs of it. Unfortunately, we did have some hydraulic issues right out the get-go. I don't know what the proper term for it was, but there's a little driver box that runs all the auxiliary hydraulics on that thing underneath the cab. Well, that ended up being defective. The switch on the right-hand joystick that operates said hydraulics ended up being bad, so we had to, unfortunately, before we ever even got to use it, work on it. But thankfully, Reitzel Tractor did stand behind the parts for me, so I am thankful for them for doing that. You know, spent a lot of money on that machine, so I was glad that they were willing to cover the cost of parts on it. So we did all the work in-house, so we didn't have to hire it out. Now, a bit of a learning curve with that. I don't know much about those new skid steers. I'm used to primitive technology, so to speak. I'm used to levers and linkages, not buttons and switches. So it's a learning curve. But yeah, anyways, we're out here picking up. Got that rain moving in, like I said, and I'm just a little bit nervous about having too much baled on the field here. So we're kind of picking up as we go. We'll bail a little bit and pick up. And so Dad was unloading earlier while I was bailing, and then he went and grabbed lunch and did barn chores real quick. The second shot of feeding for the day, and I was out here working. And my lovely wife brought me lunch. I'm very thankful for that. If you're a farm wife, we may not say it very often, but we love you and we very much appreciate you because, well, to be a farmer's wife, I guess you have to be a bit of a jack of all trades, just like a farmer. So we appreciate you. We might be a stick in the mud and we might make you late for things, but we appreciate you. But yeah, we're gonna pick up our bales here and then hopefully fire the baler back up and not get rained out. Fingers crossed. Well, I don't know why it is. Every single time you got rain on the way, you tend to just have stupid issues. And the knotter on that tie grabber bucket today has been the bone of contention today. I tell you. Really getting aggravated with that thing today. If you'd bring me a bale baler into the field today, I might give you that bucket. This is making me very angry. I got rain on the way, I ain't got time to be dicking around. I don't know why it is every single time you got rain on the way. That's when things decide they have to be a pain in the ass. Never fails. Dig the whole damn chamber out. Get out. We got rain coming, get out. Well, actually, we gotta get all the way down into the chip. Yep, blow out of here. We'll have a good time. I'm not. How do I get in there without eating all this? Come on, blow out of here. Go down somebody else's neck. Well, it has just not been a great day. One problem after another. It looks like the rain might be blowing out of here, but in the meantime, I'm broken. I have been having nothing but issues with this tie grabber bucket today with the knotter, and then I had issues with the knotter on my baler, and it's been aggravating, to say the least. But we may be on the home stretch here of figuring out what it was. So, in the midst of all this, it started to rain, decided to take everything in, put everything away. It was the lightest little spritz of rain, and it blew away. And so we pulled this thing in the shop here to diagnose what in the world is going on. Dad called Sterling Farm Equipment, their Worcester store, and Rick ended up texting me a number to a gentleman from Norden. If I remember his name here, I'm going to get it out so I don't say it wrong. James Miller from Norden. He texted me James Miller's number, and I called him and explained to him what was going on. Our issue we were having was, so this thing works, there's a knotter on this bucket, okay? And before you grab your stack of straw, hay, whatever you're doing, you thread this. And so what that does is it takes twine around here, and it ends up putting twine against the back side here across. So when you drive into your hay, there's twine behind it. Now that arm is then on the other side, on the other bumper, just like this, but on the opposite side. And after you've got your hay in your bucket, and you've got everything squared and trued, and you're happy with it, and you're ready to tie it, you actuate your hydraulics, and that then brings this arm from over there back around till it hits this stop here, which in turn hits this valve actuator here, which then will run the knotter, and this twine is shoved into here, and the twine discs are down in here. The knotter will run, the twine discs will do their thing, the bill hook will do its thing and make a knot, and then cut it. Your arm here will cut it, your bill hook. And what our issue was is it would make a knot, but the knot would not come off the bill hook. So if you go to back up off your stack after you've got it on a trailer, it either pull your knot apart, break the knot, break the twine, whatever it may be. It was nothing short of aggravation. So talked to them, went over this, I guess they have some how-to videos on YouTube. He sent me a link to that, so I'll be watching that this evening to learn the ins and outs of how to fine-tune these knotters on these machines. But in the meantime, we have determined what the issue was, at least what we think was the issue. So you have, this is called the rocker arm, and what did he call that? Dang, I don't remember the exact term. Anyways, what this thing does is it is bolted right in here, and what it does is it stuffs, I think it is called a stuffer arm. It stuffs the twine up high so that it'll be in the twine disc and in the bill hook, and it'll do its thing and it'll come off. Well, there are two heim joints on here that have ball socket ends, and this one was fastened on here. There was a nut in between this piece and the end of this ball, and our issue is the nut is stripped out, whatever it may be, it was not engaging, and so this was loose. So this would not go where it needed to be to put the twine in the position it needed to be so the knotter could do its job. So we're hopefully rectifying that now, and we're going to shorten this linkage since this machine does have some use on it. You know, from factory, it'll break in, so to speak.
Gotta go to RKO.
So, well, I guess Dad says we got to make a road trip. So, I guess we're running after hardware, but that's what we got going on here. Hopefully, we get this fixed, and I suppose the day's shot by now. It's approaching 5 o'clock, and by the time we're all said and done with this, it'll be end of day here, and the rain will be here. So, I guess we're gonna hop in the AC for a minute, and hopefully get our problem resolved.
And a little there.
I'll get it for you. Just give me a second. Wasn't it 9? Or was it half?
Half, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were right.
Oops. And the nuts down there. You see it right in your hand?
Yep.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
That's starting to smell very good. And that can be tight because that's got a bushing. Correct?
Hang on, stop. That's getting a little stiff. I think we probably better leave it there.
You took the slop out of it.
It's not all sloppy.
Okay, it was sloppy before.
Yeah. Now we gotta get that
Spring on.
Now where'd the spring go?
Isn't it still in there? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It sits down in that?
It hooks on the back of the
Right
hind.
in there?
Yep.
Thing's hateful.
Mm-hmm.
Leaf pliers ain't enough.
What do you need?
I don't know.
You have need those vice grips?
I'm gonna move the camera before we whack it.
Mm-hmm.
Now set it up.
probably grease that baler early.
Okay.
I don't need twine, I will.
No, I wouldn't imagine. I only baled part of the ball.
Yes. I think we're gonna go home. I'm hungry, thirsty.
Well, we've got her put back together. Did like the gentleman from Norden told us, we shortened that linkage 2 full turns and went ahead and fixed that ball socket being loose. We've got that all tightened up. Greased the knotter, also tweaked the bill hook just a little bit to try to make it actually wipe that knot off of there, and we'll see what comes of that. But there's really no point in heading out to the field at this point in time. We got to drag all this back out there, the trailers, the skid steer, and a baler, and we only have one trailer that's empty, so there's really no point in getting fired up. So Dad and I are both tired and hungry, and it's been an aggravating enough day. We are going home, going to eat dinner, and call it a day. Anybody want a 2019 SB541C? I got one for sale. It's a fire sale today.